Hey, gun people. Well, every once in a while I gotta pull this out. I don't think I've had this gun out in at least 3 years. It's been sitting in the garage. Outside. Doesn't get rained on, but it gets the moisture, the heat, the cold, the winters. I don't think there's a speck of rust on it. I don't know what oil or what I used on it, but whatever I used, it must be good. So the bullets look good, the mag looks good. I'm just going to give it a wipe down, put a patch through it, make sure there's no rust, maybe put a little wax on the wood, and stick it back out in the garage for another 4 or 5 years. I always keep my AKs, all my rifles with the triggers pulled, so I know I keep them on fire, I don't keep them on safe. So with the trigger pulled, I know I have to rack around in order to pull the trigger in order to fire. Now, obviously you gotta make sure the gun's clear before you drop the hammer, but that's how I always carry my my AKs. So I am going to pop this sucker off. Some AKs have you just push this in, and other AKs have a little button. So on a lot of them you just push this in to take it down. But on some of them they have this extra little pin right here. And until you push that pin in and push forward, it doesn't release it. So it's a block. So if I can keep it in here. I can't take this off until I push this forward, so this will come forward. So let me see if I can try to keep this in camera. Push this in, and then pull forward. And then that's how you take it apart. So that little detent there keeps it from coming forward. I don't know if all AKs have it. I know some have it. I have some that have it and some don't. So I do know they all don't have it. I kind of like it. It's not a big deal. Some people may like the older style. I'm not smelling what kind of oil I put in there. I mean, the thing looks just as clean as can be. Because I haven't cleaned it well, I'm going to go ahead and take off my gas tube here. A lot of these you can snap off if you take them off a lot. I like to use just a little nylon hammer here and tap it up to take it off. I'm not going to scratch anything. And then hopefully that will allow me to pull this off. Clean that. I can wax that. I'm going to rub this with a clean patch just to see if there's any rust. Sometimes a little surface rust will get on there. Very, very minimal. But because I got some, I'm going to go ahead and take this one off too so I can get a good coat of oil in that. I thought that was the loose and it was licked. You can tell I haven't taken apart my AK in a while. So that clicks forward, and then this will come off. Again, if it doesn't come off, little nylon hammer. Push that forward. Now these wooden grips should push forward. It's cooked in here in the back, so I gotta pull that forward, and it should come off. Oh shit, you know why it didn't come off? I left the my cleaning tool. A lot of people just take these off. I leave mine on. Adds a little weight. This won't come off unless I take off my add-on flash suppressor. If you've got the old style flash suppressors, which I probably have 10 of them from all my AKs, I'm surprised I don't have one laying around here. So I can show you what the old suppressors look like. They're around somewhere. This one, because it has a detent, I've got to push it back with a little screwdriver here. And I could cut all this out and redo it to make everybody think that I'm this freaking know-it-all. I'm not freaking worried about it, people. I've taken apart so many guns, and when you don't take them apart a lot, sometimes you just forget little steps. I came up here and I wanted to clean this. So that's got to come off in order to take my little gas tube off, or my cleaning tube here off. And then with the cleaning tube off, this piece should come off now, which it does. I'll go ahead and wax that. You can tell I sanded these down and put a little coat of poly on top of them. So I'm just going to put some wax over them. If I really want to give it, when I really declicked, when I painted this and did all this, I had to knock this metal piece off and put that back on, because my wood that I had was really, really nasty looking. And if I really wanted to, I could take this piece off here and wax both sides. I probably should do that so I can clean it. So taking this wood off, I usually just put this piece, because it's flat right here, and a vise to hold it so I can twist the wood. I can try it with a pair of pliers, but I'm not sure if pliers will hold it versus the vise grip. I think the vise grip works a little better. So let me get over here on vise grip and show you that. So basically you put this in here, and if you set this, you don't have to clamp it down hard. It just so it supports it. You can spin the wood out. See how that wood spins out? And then you have to spin it to get it back in. And once you get it upside down, it should pop out, like so. That little metal piece is in there that gives you tension. And again, I didn't put it tight, just enough to hold it so I can clean this completely. So this is pretty much all it's down. Now I'm just going to wipe it down with a little oil. I think I'm going to put a little coat of wax on it. I know some people may not think that's a good idea, or think I shouldn't do that, but I'm going to. So I should put probably rubber gloves on, but I'm not going to. Where's my wax at? A little paste wax out here. I'm going to wipe it down with some, where's my brake free at? Oh, there it is. Got tucked away in the back there. So I'm just going to put some brake free on here. Maybe put some on here. Give it a good little wipe down. I'm looking to remove any surface rust that might have started, like so. These are all parts that I can't get to. Tell my patch is a little dirtier than I like. Again, it's been 2 or 3 years at least, if not longer. So I'm kind of expecting this. I'm going to use a t-shirt because I can get my finger on a little bit more. So I get a little bit of surface rust off there. Not a whole bunch. For 5 years, I'm actually pretty impressed, especially with Texas humidity. And I don't know what finish they use on these AKs. I'm pretty sure it's a cheap finish. But you know what? Doesn't rust that easy, that's for damn sure. I mean, I know a lot of guns that you'd leave out in the elements in Texas for a few years, and it's going to get rust. So it's like I was waiting to do this video in case it was going to rain. Till I'm getting a little bit more rust. Right now I'm under a tornado watch. Supposed to get hail and rain and all this bad weather like usual. They make a big freaking deal out of everything, and then nothing happens. So I've been sitting here waiting. I didn't get a drop of rain, and I really needed the rain, and I didn't get one stinking drop, which kind of sucks because I really wanted some. Did anybody else see that dripping? It's going to be like, you're dripping oil everywhere. Yeah, I know. So after I do this, I will put some wax on it. I hear a little thundering out there. I'm kind of surprised because I thought everything was over. I mean, there's a few dark clouds. Tornado hits, at least I'll get it on camera. Y'all hear that thunder? I usually like to be outside filming on a good rainstorm like this, but when I went out there, wasn't nothing going on. I know a lot of people don't like the AK. I think the AK is a great weapon. I think it's a good bullet. I have absolutely no complaints. Matter of fact, if somebody told me you could only have one gun, would it be an AK or an AR, and those were my choices, I'm not sure which one I would pick. I guess I would have to know, like, the ammo situation, which one is going to be more available. There's so many AKs built that there's so many parts if it breaks. And since it's a pretty simple design, and since they don't freaking break that much, it's pretty freaking reliable. So I'm just rubbing that little metal piece on there that didn't take off. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna wax the wood. I was surprised at how this is not more dirty than it is out in the garage all this time. Because that heat and moisture, cooling and uncooling, that can take its toll. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the old bolt. I kind of wish I knew what kind of oil I put on here, because it seemed like it did a pretty good job. Bolt looks pretty clean, so I'm not going to pull the bolt out. If I want to pull it out, I can. It's just a simple twist, so it won't come out and it will come out. So and then this piece, of course, usually gets kind of oily and dirty. Got a little rust inside there. Yeah, pretty good rust inside there, as a matter of fact. So that definitely needed a wipe down with a little oil. Of course, the outside. This AK has a nice finish on it. I really like this AK. It's the I call it the Zastava, but it's Z-A-S-T-A-V-A. So, however they pronounce it, that's what it is. I always use a clean cloth when I put on my new oil. And this should also be removing any rust. And it's getting the oil down into the metal. And of course it looks pretty dirty when I put fresh oil on it, even though I just wiped it down. So by looking at this gun, you wouldn't think it was dirty. A lot of people will be saying it wasn't dirty. My guns have a lot more rust than that on it when I clean them. I like my guns pretty clean, and I think 4 or 5 years of not cleaning a gun is a pretty long time. So I'm definitely okay with cleaning this. Let me put some on. I wish somebody had an app that you could load your guns in with their, problem is how the government would want it, but so I could load my guns, serial number, make, model, and every time I clean it I could update the cleaning record, and that way it would make it easier for people with a lot of guns. Maybe a lot of people don't have a lot of guns. If you just got 1 or 2 guns, I guess it doesn't matter. I have a few more than 1 or 2, so ooh, this one was really dirty. So once again, I always go clean, and then once I put some oil on it, you can tell how it really helps take off any little surface rusting. Now I could put a patch down here. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Is there any light in there? Can you see? Get something white behind it. So I usually clean mine pretty good, so far I'm okay. I'm going to go ahead and clean this little tube off here. And the reason I don't take this off is if for some reason there was a situation where I had to grab this gun and move, if I needed something to clean it, I would want to have a cleaning rod. So having a cleaning rod is kind of a nice idea. Although I'm sure some people will be like, it's a waste of time, you're never going to use it, it's not necessary, etc. I got some good rust off that little tube, huh? I want to say I put this Marvel Mystery Oil on it last time. And I've used that in the garage on other metal things, and man, it seems to repel rust pretty damn good. I don't know what kind of lubricant it is, but for a rust preventative, that Marvel Mystery Oil seems to work pretty damn good. So let me open up my wax here. I'm probably going to go ahead and stick a glove on for this, so I can just do it by hand. Alright. And you can tell I'm just putting a little coat of wax on there. Wax is not a lubricant, so I'm not going to put it on the internal, but on the external part to where it's this wax gets in there, dries, and then puts a nice coating. So, and it doesn't take much. And that way, I'll wipe this down after it dries. And it does wonders for preventing rust. So again, there's no lubricant on the inside of this. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on the inside of this also. And this sucker, you will be amazed at how long you can leave this with just wax and it doesn't rust. It's really pretty handy. this isn't going to rust anyway, so I probably don't need to do this. This ain't that big of a deal. I mean, I put some on it, but it's such a light coat. When I wipe it off, I don't think it's going to make a big difference. But I do want to get my wax on my wood, because that helps the wood from absorbing moisture. Oh shit, I didn't want that piece falling out because I always forget which way it went in there. Damn it. So this little guy was in there, but I'm not sure. I don't think it matters. It'll go either way. I don't think it matters. Wax on that. A little wax on, wax off. Put some wax on my stock here. This isn't a long process. I mean, obviously if it was really raining and storming and I wasn't making a video, I would just sit in here and what I call tinker with it. Mess around with it, say, yeah, that's good. Maybe I'll put another coat. But this hand waxing right here usually really helps the wood. And that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the wax. On the inside, I'll wait till I put it back together for the outside. And we'll put the sucker back together. I'm not going to wipe this off because it's underneath there. So let's get this wood piece back on. My little trusty rubber mallet. So what I'm trying to do is get it in this area right here. It's not fully in. So by tapping on this, see how it's moving in, closing that gap? And now this clip right here should flip over easier, like it is, because it's lined up. And that locks it in. So now that's locked in. We need to get this piece back on there, which I showed you earlier, to where you twist it. So, I'll put this back in there. That'll hold it. And so that just kind of fit back on there and twisted back on. So that should be ready to go back on. Should fit right there. This should open up, should fall right down. This is really hard to push down, so I'll get my little rubber mallet out, make sure that's locked in place. There's a little D10 hole right there. That's in the D10 hole. That's back together. I'll put my guide rod back in there. That's back on. Put my reverse thread. Man, I hope that's raining. I hear something outside. That'll be cool if it's raining. Gotta press that little D10 in while I'm screwing this in. Alrighty. Check to see if it's raining out there. Oh, get a little sprinkle. Good deal. I love it. So let's see, what the hell's next? I need my bolt in here. And the bolt shouldn't come out like that. So it needs to be locked in the right way. Like so. I fired the trigger, so I have to make sure the hammer is back down, relocked in position. Bolts back in. Slide this spring in here. Now see, a lot of people, if you didn't know, your gun wouldn't go back together because you put it in like this, and that detent has to be depressed in order to let that fall in correctly. So when I press this, you see it clicked in? A lot of people won't do that and they'll wonder why their gun won't go back together. So make sure if you have that detent that you're using it correctly. Alrighty, that's back together. Give it a final tell what it looks like, the wood, before I polish it off. And then once I get that wax off, it's going to bring it back to a nice shine. Good wax. Oh shit, I wasn't in the camera, sorry about that. So this is, I rubbed it off and I haven't taken it off. So that is the wax still on, wax off. Wax still on, and now we'll take it off. And you can tell it just brings that right back up to a nice wax coating on that wood. And I'll do the same thing on the back. Oh yeah, that wax makes it look nice. Looks like a fresh wax floor. I like it. And now I'll just wipe down the whole rifle a little bit in case I missed a little wax anywhere. If I leave the wax on, it's not a big deal. But that's going to give it a good protection and got the wax off. That's kind of like an annual cleaning of my AK that I keep outside in the elements. Wax for the wood, wax for the gun. I am good to go. See if I put another coat of wax on there. If that. Didn't feel like it soaked in as much as it did last time. And instead of letting this one dry, I'm going to take it off wet. Alrighty, so hopefully that wood's coming out. I'll go ahead and put a second coat on this stock here. And then I'll take it off wet also before it dries. Alrighty. And that is cleaning the AK. Nice little cleaning, ready to go back out in the garage for another 5 years. Alright? Hopefully you got something out of that. And we will end that there. Y'all have a good one.